Alright guys, what we have here is, this is a $3,200 load coming out of Cali, but it's going to Ohio. This is some crates. I do have to tarp it. I'm gonna throw a couple straps over them just to get it out. And then I'll roll my tarp out, tarp it up real good. So 3,200, 3,300 on 2,100 miles, 2,000 miles or something like that. So anyways, it is what it is. It's hard to get a good rate coming out of California. Alright, I did just drop that last load, and it was the crates going to Lebanon, Ohio, and that was a cruise coming from California to Lebanon, Ohio, and pulling my truck. I think I weighed 34,680 pounds is what I weighed. Having my CDL, you know, I'm not one of those guys that, you don't need. A lot of people are running non-CDL. I mean, they're making good money. But a CDL will open the doors to other loads. And I think invested in my CDL, I did it myself. I spent $70. I spent $100 to get my CDL. $100. I bought the equipment. I knew that I was going to be tagged at like, I think 38,500 instead of 26,000 pounds. So I bought the equipment, and I knew that I was going to have to get my CDL. So all I did was I went up, I got online, studied. There's accommodations, there's general knowledge. You have to study for those. You go up there. The test in Texas was 2 tests that were 20 questions long. Passed them. You get your permit, your CDL permit, right after you pass those. The permit is good for 6 months. What I did, scheduled a driving test. I took my driving test like a month later. So I paid $30 for the written tests, $70 for the driving test, and passed it, got my CDL. That easy, with my equipment. I mean, I didn't pay $4,000 and go through a school. So I do not have my air brake. And I don't have a manual because my truck's automatic. Like, that is one of the endorsements I need to get, is that my manual and then my air brakes. And do you know, when I go take my air brakes, I don't even have to do the driving again. Nothing. I literally go up there in a truck, do the air brake test in the parking lot, pass it, I get my air brakes. Excuse me. I take the air brake test, another 20 question test, and then, wow, somebody just had a wreck. So I take the air brake test, and then I go up there in a big truck and do the air brake test in the parking lot. That $100 was probably one of the best investments that I made. It's literally that easy. If I'm not mistaken though, soon they are trying to change it to where they're going to try to make it mandatory for you to go through some sort of schooling to get your CDL. Very, very easy. So when I did go do my driving, I would say probably that's the hardest. You have to do a skills test where I had to parallel park my truck and trailer. I had to do straight line backing. I had to do an offset left. And that other one was just pulling up to a line. Like, it was very, very, those are easy. The parallel parking, if you're not good at driving a trailer, you might want to do it. I passed mine first try, thank God. So after this, okay, you have to do a pre-trip inspection, then your skills test, and then the driving test. But your pre-trip is going to be first. And for those of you who don't know what a pre-trip inspection is, basically it's going over your equipment and telling the person that is there, like one of the DPS officers or whoever, basically going over everything like you know your equipment. I did not go through a school. I went and I saw how people were doing it, and there's proper wording you can say. I know it sounds like a lot, but once you get that wording, and this is my bumper. My bumper is properly mounted and secured. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. What I'm looking for is to make sure all my hardware is present and that is securely mounted to my truck. It's that easy. Basically, they just want to see that you know your equipment. You know what you're talking about. They're not one to just give anybody a CDL. If you don't know it, you need to know it. I do a pre-trip inspection. Honestly, I do one in the morning, and I do a walk around on my truck every time I stop for gas. It's different when you're paying for your equipment. You're the one that's spending the money on it. So, and for safety of others. CDL, one of the best investments I did. I just dropped this load. Now, I turned down a $1,000 load to go home. It was paying too cheap. $1,000 just to pay my fuel going home. But I wouldn't have been able to pick it up, and I wouldn't have been able to drop it in time. It had been sitting on my trailer all Memorial Day weekend, and I just didn't want to deal with it. I said, I'm going home. So stay tuned, guys. Tell me what you want to hear. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. And be safe.